head to Purdue after the second one, right? Yeah. All right. So, well, clearly coming after last week, I think our team did a great job of just staying with it and getting better. Building on what we did last week is the most important thing. And, having a great attitude at this time of year as a team and continuing to find a way to have the highest level of effort that you can play with are the two most important things. And add in the intelligence level of getting smarter and learning how to play smarter. So clearly it's, the utmost importance heading into Thursday. That's the first objective is Purdue. And we're going to have to be a lot better than we were in the first game that we played them. And as we head into later in the week on another road game in Champaign, it'll be very similar. So, for us, it's another week. Keep adding to what we've done to the course of the season. And it's an exciting time of year, obviously.
Go ahead and start moving around. Coach, obviously, Race Thompson has been playing really well here of late as he continues to come back from an injury and just gets better and better. What does he offer you in a game like this on the road at Purdue?
Well, I think Purdue, the first time we played him may have been Race's first time back, and he wasn't 100% coming back at that time. And he wasn't as effective as he's been in some of these other contests that we've played. But I think everyone's seeing the value of Race's physicality. He brings it per minute played. He's probably per minute played our best rebounder. He gives you hustle plays. He gives you a guy that kind of knows what he's doing out there in terms of his role. And he's playing really hard. He gives you another guy out there that's competing at a pretty high level. And from a defensive standpoint, he gives us some mobility. Again, we're able to guard, him alongside of another big guy, or he's able to take the other big guy at times if he's not, completely, oversized. But, for the most part, Race has done a great job for us all season. I think he's playing career best basketball. It was unfortunate his spill sort of against Michigan State sort of derailed him for a week or so, 2 weeks. I think he ended up missing at least the Penn State and Ohio State game, and he came back at Purdue, like I said, and he wasn't ready. But got another week sort of, and then got Iowa, and I thought from Iowa on he sort of like picked up where he left off. So it was good to see he didn't have a good spell and then really have a hard time getting out of it. So, but he'll play a big role for us coming down the stretch. Rebounding and defense is obviously the utmost importance. And like I said, playing with a high motor right now defensively, he's given us a chance to kind of get better. We were probably as good in back-to-back settings this past week defensively as we've been maybe all season long, and I think Race's minutes played is probably a big reason why.
A little tongue-in-cheek, was that Avril Lavigne getting blasted in there earlier? Is that y'all's practice, or is that the women's practice?
It's definitely not our practice.
Rob Phinisee, we've talked about him, just his steadying presence. It seems like he finds ways to contribute whether he's scoring or not. And he's just never seemed to be a player that needed to score to feel comfortable in a game. How unusual is that, even for a point guard who's often thinking about kind of knitting other guys together, to just be a guy that doesn't need to see a shot fall, doesn't need to see his offense really turn up individually to play well in other areas? Yeah,
I thought last year at this time of year, Rob was really struggling with his mindset and offensively. He struggled with that injury and whatnot. I think if you look at his shooting percentages a year ago, he was getting baited to shoot. And I think he played that way at certain times last season where he was a little tentative. I think Rob's very willing right now, offensive player, to be aggressive, especially with his shot. He's a much improved shooter. But I think here of late, and especially this past week, I'm really proud of his effort level defensively. He played a really good solid game against Marcus Carr on Wednesday. And then again on this past weekend when we played Penn State, he was an impact on the defensive side of the ball, 5 steals and 5 defensive rebounds. So, for where we're heading as a team, for Rob, it's about, really spearheading our defense and being a guy we can count on defensively. I think from an offensive perspective, I think he understands right now it's about running our team, and it's about making sure that we're taking care of the ball. And he knows when he has his opportunities, offensively to be aggressive, he can do that. But he's playing pretty good basketball for us right now. And I'm really proud of his defensive effort here of late, especially these last couple games. I think he's been really, really good. So we're going to need we're going to need him to really finish strong on that end of the ball, because I think your defense really starts with your perimeter pressure, and our pressure in the 3 out of the last 4 games has been outstanding. He's been a big reason why.
Coach mentioned wanting to line up the games and kind of play them back to back to back instead of the time in between. Sometimes you guys can get lost. Is there anything different about the team between games like the last 2 games versus maybe between 2 losses that you noticed, and how you're going to continue that momentum between games?
No, I think we're okay. I just think that was probably more so for me than them. I think as a coach, you think too much about your guys, and you worry too much about the prep time, and you worry too much about this. Sometimes it's easy in the setting, play a couple in a row. You don't have time to think about it. It's just go play. Sort of that mentality is what I meant more so than anything. But I think our guys have a good mindset right now. I think they understand that we're not asking a lot of them other than, like I said at the beginning, great attitude, great work ethic, and tremendous effort level when we're asking them to give it. And if we do those 2 things, we're going to be fine. We're just trying to get a little smarter with our practice times right now, and using our practice time to really, make less mistakes. I think that's part of what our team has struggled with through the course of games and through the course of the season. It's just lulls and mistakes that you can clean up if you're concentrating. So, not trying to beat them up right now. I think they know that it's a time of year where you got to be ready to play, and we've been ready to play here these past couple, and I don't anticipate that changing. We have a lot on the line, as does everybody else. But for us, we're playing at an exciting time of year with a lot to play for. So, you want to go out there and play and not think a lot. You just want to go out there and you want to give what you have. But for us, being smarter, working on our practices to become a better team, and at the end of the day, really honing in on that effort and attitude. And I think that's been a good thing, for us here recently.
Matt Painter said after the first time you guys played, he was trying to throw a lot more motion offense at you guys, try to throw things off defensively. I mean, how do you sort of make adjustments to that if they try to go that route again?
Purdue's a great motion team. They run, precision offense, whether it's set plays or whether it's their motion. Their guys do a great job of cutting and screening, and I think they're even running more motion right now than they were the first time that we played them. In our game, I didn't think we were very good in terms of the effort that we gave defensively on the ball, and I didn't think we were very good in our attention to detail in terms of chasing guys, whether it be off screens or whether it been off handoffs. We weren't good enough in that game to beat Purdue. Whether make up a lot of reasons for it or whatnot, but at the end of the day, when you watch that game, it's one of the games this year that you look at and say, well, we didn't bring it that day. We need to be much better, obviously, on the road and as you head into their place, because they're very good at home. But they're a very good execution team. I mean, they're probably, I would say this, that I think Purdue and Matt and his staff do a great job, but they're a precision execution team, and they pick on you. They pick on your rules, they pick on your guys, and I think in our game, especially in the first half, first 10 minutes, I think they made 5 threes. Aaron Wheeler made 3, Eric Hunter made 2. Those were big shots, gave them a lot of confidence on the road. And I think that when we've been good, if you just look at us, we've defended the 3-point line pretty well. Whether that was Penn State, or whether that was Minnesota or even Iowa, a good 3-point shooting team have done a good job of handling the line with our ball pressure and being where we're supposed to be, and also being detailed, on cutters and who certain guys are. But they do a great job. Purdue's as good as it gets in terms of picking on you with their motion, their screening, their cutting, and they also mix in, obviously their action and what they do and how they try to get you there. But without question, just going to have to play a lot harder than we did in the first game.
Okay, Mike and Dustin, then we're done.
I think in 3 of the 4 last games, your bench points have been much more than the other team. You talked early in the season about your depth, but have guys finally gotten comfortable with their role off the bench and just kind of settled into what they can do for you?
I think so. I think guys know what's going on right now in terms of the roles on our team. I think guys know if they play well, they'll play more. We don't really have an unhappy group in terms of coming to practice dealing with 3 or 4 guys that are unhappy. We're past that, and I think guys have seen the value of just staying with it and having their moments in games. Sometimes it doesn't show up on the stat sheet. Sometimes it's just our team watching film and seeing good things happen. Every guy, I can't say this, every single guy, on our team, whether they play a minute, don't play, they're bringing it every day in practice. And that gives you the confidence to go in the game and compete. And, you know, I know Duran's had his moments. Jerome has had big moments, whether it's even been singular plays. He's had a couple really big plays the last couple. Armand, his defense really did a good job hanging in at Minnesota. You know, obviously Devontae comes off the bench, but you look at Devontae as one of our key guys. But Devontae's 3 out of his last 4 games, he's been there. I mean, he's been there for us. Even in Minnesota, he's been there for us. He was there against Penn State. He did some good things, and we're going to need those guys to stay with it because, like I've said from the beginning of the season, we're only going to be as good as the overall depth and impact of each guy on our team. And as we head into the last week and a half of the season, you know, I think that's what you're hoping for as a coach, that you have a lot of guys contributing. We had a lot of guys contribute this past week. We had a lot of guys contribute, especially, you know, even on Saturday. It was a hard-fought game where a lot of guys made good plays. So just finding a way to get as much out of everyone as we can. And like I said, it usually comes with that attitude and effort. If you have great attitude and you're working your butt off, good things happen. I think we have a lot of that going right now for us. But, you know, without question, the productivity over the last couple games by more people has really helped us.
Last question, Dustin.
We talked a lot last year about just Romeo and just sort of the microscope that he was always under. Do you
Yeah.
feel like Trace has had to deal with less of that, and do you think that's been good for him, and where do you think that's allowed him more space to grow as a player in his freshman year?
I think Trace has probably dealt with 1/10 of what Romeo had to deal with throughout the course of the season. Trace's impact on our team and Trace's play has been second to none. Trace is a different type of a kid. He's a different type of a player coming in. Although McDonald's All-American and although Indiana Mr. Basketball, it wasn't the savior of the universe that was coming to help us. Romeo had as good of a freshman season as a lot of freshmen have ever had coming through here. And it seems like the only thing they want to talk about was, you know, what went wrong. You know, the poor kid was 18 years old and he's playing against the Lakers the other day on TV, and he's pretty good now. I mean, he's pretty good. Trace is pretty good in his own right, but he hasn't had the fame on the way in. He doesn't have the fame that he's here, but he's National Freshman of the Week this past week in college basketball in almost March. He's doing a pretty good job for us, and but he's a different type of player. I mean, he's a different type of kid. You know, he's a very, very, very grounded personality, as did Romeo, but not too high, not too low, but continues to want to learn and get better. And both guys really wanted to win. And I think Trace has kind of shown that with his play here recently. He's really stepped up to the plate and he's trying to handle a bigger load for us. He's got to get better defensively. You know, he's got to get better. But when you just talk about the two individuals coming in the door, what one guy had on his back versus Trace has the same weight on his back from us as a staff, but he doesn't have the same weight on his back from probably the outside world. It's just, I don't know if anyone ever will. I really don't know if there'll ever be a freshman that could go to a place like in an Indiana, an in-state school at the time that he did when he was coming out of high school and ever be able to live up to those type of standards, even when you average 16 or 17 a game in the Big Ten as a freshman. Regarding LeBron James on Sunday on TV, I get the biggest kick out of that, you know. He's a defensive stopper now, he tells me, so that's the one thing that's it's pretty comical. But obviously happy for him, but happy for both guys. I mean, those guys have made a huge impact on our program, and hopefully they continue to play well, because I think that speaks volumes about guys wanting to come here for the right reasons and stay here for the right reasons when they can.
Okay, Coach, thank you.
Thank you.